Hey everybody, welcome to Jen Lowry Writes. Today I'm streaming and sprinting, and I'm not talking about running sprinting, even though I need to because I just went and got Chick-fil-A shakes to celebrate. Um, but I'm writing today and editing my middle grade horror comedy book. So if you're just joining the channel for the first time, I want to say welcome to you. I'm an author and I'm a teacher, and today I have a lot to celebrate and reflect on. So I do want to let you know that Twitter's off, Facebook's off, and as I sprint, it would be great if I had absolutely no distractions whatsoever, but that's not the case in my life. I have my phone dinging, dinging, kids texting me in the house if they want to find out, can they come through? It's weird. It's like they don't want to like walk through. They're telling me what's for dinner. They're gonna start texting me throughout the stream, and so I do talk with my family, and then I'll get work news and things like that. So if you hear all of the dings, you know that that's emails going off. But I'm not going to stop those because I'm here as proof that I can have a full-time job, a family, and still get sustained writing time in. And today is a wonderful day for me. I don't know if you can tell, but I had some crying moments today, happy tears, because I just closed out my 20th year teaching. And today was our last day of the school year that the students were going to be with me in our virtual setting. And I had to say goodbye to the students and happy summer and come by and see me next year. And just reflecting on the year, their character and their development, their integrity, their kindness. That's what's got me talking about reflection today. Because it's wonderful to celebrate the close of a year. I mean, come on. We celebrate the end. When I finished any project, or yesterday, when I finished writing doing that whole rewrite edit, when I had that opportunity to just hit final word and step back, I'm sure you could see on my face that, I did this. I accomplished this goal. And then I wanted to celebrate, and we went and had blueberry muffins. What is this about? I just noticed we celebrated the day with Chick-fil-A milkshakes. But I made Jiffy Box. I don't know if you guys have ever had Jiffy Box blueberry muffins, but hands down, they're the best to me. Love them so much. And so we celebrated yesterday because of that. And today we're celebrating because we're closing out another year and this chapter is done. And it's been a long year, and it has been really, really different than what I expected a school year to be. And we've had a lot of challenges and tech issues and equity and format and trying to move over and transition into the digital world. We've had a lot to deal with, and making my students feel just as respected in this space and valued in this digital space. That has not been a challenge for me, but it has always been on my mind. Am I promoting literacy and teaching them the standards that they need, but am I also taking care of their social and emotional well-being and making sure that they're having these, great experiences online together as a classroom unit? Do they still feel like that? So it has been tiring too. I'm going to be honest. Doing like 4 and 5 Google Meets a day, just that screen time alone, there were days when I would lose motivation to write, days when I did not want to check on my author platform because I would just be so mentally exhausted from staring at a screen all day. And I went to my husband's readers, and I have some coming in the mail. Like, seriously, just the difference that it makes. Right now I'm not typing, so I don't necessarily need them just to be able to talk to you guys on the screen. But just having that time on the screen from 6:30 a.m. all the way to 3, some days 6:15 to 3, some days when I would get up at 5:30, I would just go ahead and start work. And then it doesn't cut off. If you stream with me, there'll be days when I'll say, oh, there's a work email. Let me check it really fast. And then I'll have to go and do what I got to do with my job. But even then, my heart doesn't turn off from students and lesson plans and thoughts about, what can I do better the next time I have class or prepare a unit. And the reflective practice is key in all of the things that I do, not just teaching, not just parenting, reflecting on conversations that I've had with my young men, my little babies that are growing up. I reflect on our relationship and ways to guide them as a mom, and ways to, help steer them in the right direction. And then I reflect on my author world. So my mind is in this almost kind of like a whirlwind of thoughts sometimes. I've got all of these things on my to-do list that I want to accomplish. But when do we take the time to slow down and reflect? Because reflection is key to growth, to recognition, to awareness. And if we don't reflect, we can just keep going through motions without really tackling it in an efficient way, in a stronger way, or without giving ourselves this time to breathe, reflect, and celebrate these smaller milestones. And that's what I've been really working with, not just with the writers that I work with, but that's what I've been working with for me. And I forced myself into this thought process, because if I don't force it, if I don't force myself into this reflective space, I will oftentimes just continue to do, always do it, always doing things. Trying to see what can I fit in next, and I'll bounce from Twitter to getting on Canva and creating new images, to then trying to edit, then moving over and working with my writing group, and I'm just like this constant whirlwind in my mind again. I'm using that same word, but if I don't force myself into the reflective practice space, I feel like I lose out on opportunities to learn. So I have to slow myself down. And I think that that's one of the hardest things for authors maybe to do, is because we already possibly, I'm just speaking for myself, if you feel the same way, you can agree, but we already feel like we're pressed with time. Like, if only I just had time to write, just give me that time, protected time to write. And I will. We're going to do writing sprints. But I feel like you need that protected time too, to be able to slow down and reflect. So I created myself this stopping place, and I'm going to share with you the reflective questions that I modified and pulled. Let me pull up my work. And I shared it with my WWJs, because they may not want a digital calendar, but for me, having this digital calendar has been so great for my life. Okay. So that AB honor roll celebration today was so amazing. I had more support staff and teachers in that Google Meet than the kids. They invited their teachers. I teach ninth grade, and we had our English 1 celebration. It was so amazing. Happy tears. I can't say, well, I'm going to miss that bunch, because once they're in my class, they're always mine and they always come back. So I've kind of figured that out by now. Okay, so I'm going to jump over and I'm going to share my screen, because I want to share with you guys what I made on Google Calendar to help me reflect. So I use the actual, I called it, made it on Google Calendar. I use Google Calendar for my job. I did not want to use that for my work. I wanted something else. I wanted something special just for me. So I'm going to show you guys, and you can put in the comments if you would like a copy of this calendar, and I can clear it out. I can make a copy of it. I should have done that. Start with before I start writing on it. Should have done that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Okay, if you would like a copy of the template, just let me know in the comments, and I'll link it. You might not like it at all, but I'm not wasting time because I'm talking about reflection. And I will say one of the reasons why I feel like people don't want to reflect is because that means that you are forcing yourself into a space where you have to calm your mind and you have to like truly think about what's going on, what you've had happen. For you to be able to reflect on that experience, you actually have to just slow down and think. And in a busy world, and in the way that our schedules are, sometimes it can be really hard to have those moments. But I want to challenge you to try to carve in that time. And so that's what I'm doing. And I have created myself this calendar that I can have, like a digital calendar. So my book list for the month, I'm going to keep a running record here, but I do have it on Pinterest, and I'm putting up my links on Instagram too. You can go follow me at Jen Lowry Writes, and you can see me all over social media that way. But I love to document the books that I'm reading, and I did a book review last night on Fangirls. Okay, so this was my goals for the first week. And then I had this calendar. I didn't start it, but on that Saturday. And then here were some highlights. I got sponsors for our conference. Super excited about our writing conference. It's free. It's on Eventbrite, and you can get your tickets today. And we're going to be talking about writing all day long. So I would really suggest that you go. We're going to have some great people. I am so excited that I have learned how to be a streamer on Twitch. It has been something I've wanted to do for a really long time, and now I'm here. And so I'm celebrating that. So I'm not going to share all of my reflections. The prompt is for you right now to look at, and I want you to go over these reflection questions. And there are plenty more reflection questions, that you can pull. You can go online and just type in reflective thinking, reflection prompts, reflection journals. But this could be a great start for you. So this could be the slide that you need to help you. So you can take a screenshot right now with your phone and just have this in front of you when you're journaling. Now, I highly suggest that you have a journal beside you at all times. You can also create a digital journal. And that's something that I'm going to do with my students when I start back in August. We've always had paper journals, but in August, I have already made that executive decision as a teacher that digital journals are forever for me. And I'm going to create these calendars also for my students. Instead of them having paper planners that they're going to lose, they're going to have Google Docs, Google Docs, Google Slides. They're going to have things that they're going to be able to access and keep up and share with people too if they'd like to. So for the first reflection question, I really think we need to focus on positives. And you can see that that's one of the first things in the calendar. I'm going to move back up. This is slide 8. But I'm looking forward to a positive month. Nobody is saying I'm looking forward to a negative month, or they're not waking up in the morning saying that they want to fail or they want this day to be crappy. Oh, I wish today was crappy. No. But there's often times when we are just so busy and caught up that we miss some of the simple joys. And so what are some joys that you discovered through the week, through the day. You can do reflection questions each day, or you could like zero in on a topic. So if you really wanted to apply this to one area of your life, so for example, what are some joys you discovered today? My kids went with me to work today. They couldn't go in, but they went and drove in the car with me because we were closing out our end of the year, and you have to have all of these checkoffs that you have to do to close out your school. You turn in library books, and you have to turn in your computer. You have to do like make sure everything's cleaned and turn in all of the equipment and stuff like that. And so I asked the boys, did they want to go with me today? Because that would one, we don't really go out. That would give them an opportunity just to get in the car and get some sunlight and get out and about. And they're like me. They're like homebodies like me. And so they got in the car. They were great. We loved it. They wore their pajamas. Don't tell them I told you. And, I had the greatest time with them because they give me an opportunity to hear their music. And I got to listen to their Spotify playlist, and they share a playlist. They have very similar interests. And so it went from Mastodon to something called Midwestern emo, which I never even knew was a category and genre of music. And then we were back to listening to Avenged Sevenfold. And then we were circling back, like listening to something new, like some kind of electronic disco music. I don't know what it was. But it was so cool. In a span of 45 minutes in the drive, I had an opportunity to learn more about my kids and experience some pretty cool music. And I love that. I take that as a joy. We're a musical family anyway. My sons play instruments. I love music. They love music. And so joy with them and spending that time together is priceless right in the middle of the day. And so that's the kind of reflection questions, that if you wanted to reflect on family or parenting, that's one. But if you want to reflect like on just your author, keep this as like an author journal place. Like, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for the writing community. And I love my writing people. I love the relationships that we have online. They're very solid. They're like we're there to support each other and edify one another, build one another up. We pray for one another and share in successes. And so I really feel like the gratitude for the writing community is like deep for me. And finding new people on Twitch, finding new subscribers on YouTube, it just builds the writing community. It helps us build each other up. And the more that we are connected to one another, the greater that we will be as writers, because we will learn from one another and we will grow together and we can depend on one another. And so I'm very grateful for that. And so, like, for the next reflection question, what are some things that caused you to act? Oh, I can answer this one. I'm going to go back over and look and see on the chat. I'm showing these and I don't get to see the chat because I have my screen up and I'm screen sharing. But I'm here, and I would love it if you would look at these reflection questions and say, okay, so I've done A happened, and then B happened, and then as a result to that, this is what occurred with C. So A plus B equals C. I use that a lot in my life. And what are some things that caused, me to act? Well, why did I decide to go full force edits on Bad to the Bone? Why now when everything else going on? Well, I had the opportunity for Pit Dark to be, this great platform. If you don't know about Pitch Wars, I'm asking you to go and research Pitch Wars. So there's something else about me. I'm going to try to tell you 10,000 things to do. So that's why you need to have a journal when you're here with me. But pitch wars are amazing, and you have an opportunity to go to different events on Twitter throughout the writing year. So Kid Dark was something completely different. It's kind of under that umbrella though, where you get to pitch a tweet and you get to hashtag the different genres. And so I hashtagged horror, comedy, middle grades. So my MG tag was there, and Pit Dark opened up, and I got 2 agency hits on those. And so what are some things that caused me to act? One, I am fortunate to follow the writing community on Twitter and in Facebook groups. And they were like, Pit Dark's coming. Who's doing that? I'm like, me. I love horror. And I already had Bad to the Bone done. Well, when I went to turn in Bad to the Bone, I was like, I got to edit now. I got to really focus in, and I got to reread, and I got to look up some editing tips. And I really want to go back in because I love UFC. So I usually do like a 5-round edit, like it's a championship round. Like I psych myself out like it's a UFC match. And I'm like, I know I got to edit. But this time I tried a brand new strategy. So why did I act with that? And it's because I love Kate DiCamillo. And Kate DiCamillo is one of my favorite authors ever, hands down. And she gave some writing tips. And I was like, oh, I need to listen to these writing tips. And I've started following the Candlewick videos. They're only like 2 minutes long. And so you can look those up too. And I'm going, okay. So she's saying, write a story, walk away from it for 2 weeks, which Bad to the Bone I wrote and walked away. I already had beta readers, had a slew of beta readers for Bad to the Bone. So I feel really good that it got that first glance review, and I did all of the edits. And I thought that Bad to the Bone was done. Then I heard her words of wisdom, and she challenged me. It's like it spoke to me, and it said, walk away for 2 weeks and then rewrite your story. And I was like, rewrite the story? Like the whole thing? And I started thinking about it, and I was like, why not? Let me try this thing. And it's with the condition that you don't read your manuscript, that you actually just type it again. Like you already know, the plot points. You already know your characters. Now you get to live with them a little bit longer on a fresh page. And I was like, okay, this is probably not going to work for me. I'll be honest. I was skeptical at the beginning. And I was like, this is a lot of work. I've got 17,000 words. Like, I've got to go back in. And then I started. And as soon as I did the first chapter, as soon as I rewrote it, guys, it was almost like this light bulb. It was like this epiphany. I was like, this is brilliant. I understand it. It's clarity. I get why I should be doing this strategy. And I just went forward, full steam ahead. I did not look back, and I didn't say, I'm going to go back and reread. What I did do was try Jamboard, and I used it for organization. So even though I didn't reread, I used Jamboard, and I outlined each one of my chapters through the edit, and I put the word count down. But now at this last check, I was at 23,000 words. So I went from 17,000. So I went from 2,000 to 17,000, working edits with betas and all of that. And now I'm at 23,000 words in the new work. And it's still a great early middle grades reader word count. So I'm still in a good range. I'm actually in a very healthy range for the word count. So what caused me to do that? I trusted that what Kate DiCamillo said as an artist was good advice. And that's where I want to encourage you guys to go out and investigate your favorite authors. Listen to what authors are saying. Find a strong writing community and really take charge and say, I'm going to try some new things. It breathes new life. It gives you new energy into your work. And what could it hurt? You could try a strategy. This is what I tell my students in class all the time. So I'm a strategy-based teacher. I do reading apprenticeship, and I teach literacy and English 1. There's many ways to comprehend the story. There's many ways to gain access into print, but I have to teach them, different access points and different tools and strategies on how to get there. And if I don't model that as an author myself, then I feel like I'm losing a part of what I could become as an artist, as an author, as a leader. And so I can try these new things and I psych myself out. And so reflecting on what is a motivator for me, of course, I'm going to say Jesus and my family. And, I love connecting with readers. Those are great motivators. But I've got to feel this challenge. I've got to have that challenge put in front of me. And that's why my platform is really built on how I am a challenge person. You challenge me. I have a bucket list for a reason because I'm challenging myself, to go jump out of an airplane or to go zip lining across mountains or to sing in church or, even to the simplest things. But to me, when I'm in my author world, if I challenge myself, if I hear that, like what Kate said, and it was like, oh, rewrite and don't read it. Now, isn't that sounding like a challenge? Because you know how much when you're editing, you want to just start at chapter 1 and you want to just read. And that's what I was doing in the past. Not to say that that's bad, but I was like, oh, this is a new thing. Let me try this. That sounds like a challenge that I want to accept right now. And the work, y'all, it is like night and day. Like the story is still like, it moves along the same, but there is some depth in there that was not there before. There's stronger, the characters are colorful. They had color before and now they're vibrant. And so I really see the growth. There's another reason why too, is because I'm constantly in middle grades work. I'm constantly reading all the time. I'm going to share with you guys a book that now I did a book review last night that was on my to-do list. If anybody's been watching my calendar and looking at my to-do list, I wanted to do a book review, but I'm now reading The Last Kids on Earth. I don't know if you can see that. I'm 10% in, so I finished the very first chapter. Love this book. I am not putting this book away. This book is mine. The Last Kids on Earth. Love it. Loved Fangs a lot. Just hilarious. I did Gold Trip. And so here I am reading in horror comedy and horror adventure for kids in middle grades. That's what also helps me. It helps put me in that world and it helps step me into that world. And yes, I could watch Little Monsters and pull back some, little middle grades goosebumps movies and do all of that. I have had tons of rounds of reading horror for the past few months, but I could go and watch movies. But if I'm having my TV time, it's The Mentalist. You all know I'm hooked on The Mentalist show. We're in season 5 now. We've been binge watching that, and me and my husband love that show. But I'm trying to not just live in this middle grade space with horror, with the horror comedy. And that helps me as well because then I have comparable titles. I kind of know what's already out there. I'm seeing what Simon & Schuster's publishing, what Penguin Random House is publishing out there, what's getting the big hits. And it's like, it just makes me a better writer because I'm reading good quality fiction and stuff is funny. And it gives me that break escape too. And so why do I do the things that I do? It's going back to that author motivation, that author build. And I love to reflect on those things. And so I didn't take you through all of these reflection questions today. I'm going to stop here. We went over the first 3 of these, but I hope you've had an opportunity to screenshot these, just pause it later, come back to it. And then you can start journaling some of these reflection questions. And then if you guys want my June calendar template, I'd love to share it with you guys if you think it would help you. So just let me know in the chat, or you can send me an email, jenlowrywrites@gmail.com. And I should have moved the stuff out and not wrote on everything and made it blank, but didn't get that far. I just started working. I'm just thinking I needed to share this. So now that we've talked about reflection and why it's so important, because that's where you're learning and that's where your growth is going to come. And I know you could have a roadblock and you could say, I don't have the time to reflect. I really don't know the process. I don't know how to reflect. Is it going to pay off? You never know until you try. So reflective practice can be journaling. It can just be taking time to take a walk and think about things and really just mull them over in your mind. But it's giving you that protected space to creatively think about your actions, the results of those actions, and what did you learn. And yes, I'm learning on YouTube every day. I'm learning new things for the author world every day, but I'm also learning things about myself. And that's where you need to be reflective as well. And that's going to make you a stronger writer and just a stronger person all around. And so I hope that if you practice reflective thinking, that you will remember these tips, and then you'll come back later and you'll say, Jen, thank you. Thank you, because you challenged me and you forced me to slow down and reflect, because that's what I want you to do. And then I want you to celebrate. And so today, it's a wonderful day for me. I am celebrating the close of the year, and I am going now, I can say, into my 21st year of teaching. Like, it's just so crazy. And I'm just thrilled that the summer is right here for me. So I'm going to be doing a lot of writing, and I'm going to work the Bad to the Bone, this middle grade horror comedy. I'm going to continue to work that until I hear back from the agents, because as you know, that just because, an agent requests your work, it can take up to 6 to 8 weeks for you to hear anything back, and even longer for some places. So I'm waiting to hear what this agency wants to do. Do they want the full manuscript, or is that going to be a closed door? And if that's a closed door, then I'm okay. I mean, I've got a pretty thick skin for rejection. I think getting my dissertation and having to go through AQR really helped me tremendously be able to deal with the pressures of the author world. And so I take it as a blessing, even the rejections, because that meant that that person didn't feel connected enough to my work to be able to sell it. Doesn't mean that it was bad. It just means it wasn't right for them. And so that gives me that freedom to continue to shop it around, which I have not done. I've been working on the edits. I'm not going to shop it around until I hear back from this agency, because I really, really love this agency. Like, it's a big one, and I love it. So I'm praying that that's going to work out. If it doesn't, then I know the Lord's got something else in store for me with agency representation. And if it's not, then you guys, I have my backup plan. And I talk to my WWJs all the time about having plans and backup plans and building your year out, and not just looking at like short-term goals like I do, like my journal's like right here. My goals are up there on the calendar. But actually looking for long-term plans, I think is really good. It's like you're participating in a vision board celebration, which we are going to be doing on Friday. So get ready to make your vision board with me on Friday. I thought that would be a great way to close out the year and spend it with you guys, and let's build ourselves a vision board together. So we're going to have this party. So Friday at, I will say, I don't know, 7:00. It's usually a good time for me, 7 or 9. I haven't decided yet, but I'll post it up. And then you guys can join me for a vision board party. And we're making a digital vision board. But, for me, having these moments where I can just come here and share all of these things with you. It's just, I'm so grateful for that. And it does help motivate me. So I hope it motivates you. And I lost my train of thought, and I'm going on to set the timer because we've been talking 36 minutes, and I've been trying to encourage you for reflective practice and told you all the reasons why you should do it, and even told you roadblocks so that way you can get over those walls and start reflecting. I did some verbal reflections so you guys could see how you could work reflections not only on family or your job, but you could also do author reflections, which can really benefit you in your writing life. All of them can. Then you can go around doing reflective practice just as you're walking from upstairs to downstairs in your house. And then you can put yourself into that space, that reflective space, and you can clear your mind so you're able to think through that process. All you need is some good questions. The questions are key. Okay, I'm going to the timer. So you guys pull out whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's drawing or writing poetry, or you're ready for a blog, if you're making some digital art, or if you're making promotional materials on Canva, whatever it is that you're working on with your author life, now's the time to get yourself in the position and get ready because I am setting the timer. I love my 17 minutes. I think that's just perfect for me. I am editing now. Again, I am completely finished with the rewrite. I finished that yesterday. Congratulations for me. But now I'm going in to the final chapter again because I wrote it in the span of 2 days and I don't want to I want to reread that and I want to make sure that it flows and that it's not disjointed a little bit. So I'm going to pull up my document and I'm going to stop the screen. I didn't realize I was screen sharing this whole time sitting here talking to you. Sorry. Then, okay, I'm going to pull up my Google and we are going to start. And I'm also going to get my Jamboard up. I love Jamboard. And I have my Bad to the Bone Club Jamboard. And I'm going to update. I'm going to start here. So I like looking at this tool because I have everything organized. So it's almost as if I had a gigantic chalkboard in front of me right here at my desk and I had a bunch of sticky notes on it. Well, I don't have the colored sticky notes and they'd probably be falling off with the air conditioner and floating all over the room. So here I have the digital sticky notes. So I'm starting with Jamboard. And you can let me know what you're working on in the comments. And let's go, guys. Y'all ready? All right. I just introduced the middle grades to Johnny Cash. That makes me happy. We've got 7 more minutes left on the clock. All right, guys. I'm going to go get some more water and I'm going to be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Having that milkshake made me so thirsty. And my timer's probably about to go off. 3 minutes. Ah. Just like a cat to get the last word. All of that. I don't know if any of you guys have animals, pets. You can tell me about your pets and um, the personality of cats. I put a couple of paragraphs in here about a cat attack. I love it. A minute left. Sorry. All right. I got halfway through that edit of that chapter, and you could hear me like ever so often clicking away because I'm changing a word here or there. I'm thinking about word choice and the lyrical pattern of the sentences. I always like to, just slow my pace a little bit and try to make like I'm a narrator and read it out. Now, reading out loud is a wonderful strategy, and I do that too. Um, but in front of you guys, I did read that line about the cats, but um, that's something that you can do as a way to just check the pattern, just check the sound, and the choice will maybe stand out to you more. And then you can, stop, go back and change some words and then reread it again. So that's another strategy that you guys can do. So I would love to know what you guys are working on. We've got 2 more minutes before our hour is up in our stream. I love working for 1 hour, talking about the author life, showing you guys some tips, and hopefully it can help you grow as a writer. A reflective practice, just I can't tell you that having the training in this, in the Thinking Collaborative, and actually having my coaching certification, that's where I first really learned about the depth of reflective practice. As a teacher, we always, we talk about that, and we'll reflect on lessons and we'll leave the day and we can't turn it off until we actually process through those motions. But then when I learned the deeper piece, then I feel like, hey, wait, this has got to apply more to not just my educational practices, but my life. And so I've now been reflective over my author world. Oh, awesome, Alley Cat. Good to see you today. Good. Well, congratulations on your progress. Going back in, like I said, with those fresh eyes, stepping away, I'm really excited about entering back into the Fae of Averly, which is my middle grade fantasy. So my plans, my long-term plans are, once I finish up these edits of Bad to the Bone, I'm going to close it up and I'm going to start pitching to agents. So you guys can be right here with me streaming while I'm pitching, and I'll share query tips and out there working with agents. And I'm going to be pitching for Bad to the Bone for that middle grades book. And then I'm going to be moving into the Fae of Averly, which is 27,000 words right now. And if I do this rewrite technique with a Fae, then it may push me well into the 30s maybe. Or you never know, I might go a little shorter. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to kind of shaping it up too. So I've got a next edit going. I'm not going to start any new. Let me find some wood here. Let me knock. I don't plan on starting anything new. I talked to you guys about the cult idea, the serial killer ideas that I have going on in my mind to do some new age novels, get it out of the YA world, still make it clean fiction, but add those darker elements in there. I may address all of that this summer. All I know is I'm celebrating it summer and I'm in the middle of this and I can't get out of it until I finish, until I feel completely satisfied. And once I step away, I'm not saying I won't come back to it, but I want to have a pretty good handle on it in case I get those agents to email me back and say, wait, we've read your openings, we've read your first 10 pages, we're ready for more. And then I'll have this quality piece that I will be able to send to them that I could be really proud of. And that's what's happened with my edits. That's what's happened with these rewrites from Bad to the Bone. So that's my plans. And then if I don't get them picked up by an agent, in February, I'm going to release February 2021. I'm going to self-publish The Fae of Averly. And in March, I'm going to self-publish Bad to the Bone. But until that time, it gives me plenty of opportunities to pitch and try to go the agency route. And then I'll be working a lot on Sweet Potato this summer too, which is my traditionally published book, getting it lined up for book promotions and tours and all of that fun stuff for its release in August. So it's out on pre-order now, but there's a lot to be done before Sweet Potato. Just another reason why I started my calendar, so I could keep up with things in the long run. Right now, I'm just, getting the structure of the calendar, seeing how everything is flowing with that, and then I'm going to advance that calendar to include the rest of the months of the year. So I can go ahead and start plotting longer term. Just one little bit right now, a little chunk that I'm going to add. So we've hit over our hour. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. Make sure that you follow the channel and go ahead and hit not just subscribe, but go ahead and get the notifications so that way when I go live, you can join me here and you can edit with me and we can talk writing and just I'm sharing what's happening with my author life, and it's something new every single day. Trust me. Now I have a whole book right here of all kinds of jam-packed notes, and you guys are going to laugh because the future episodes page, I was brainstorming. I have 5 on here in my little chicken scratch notes, and it was not about reflective practice for authors. I did not have that one written down, but because today was my final day in the classroom for our school year, and I was reflecting and we were celebrating, I was like, you know what? I've got to continue on, and I've got to encourage other people to pause and to reflect. So I hope that you do that practice today. Choose a part of your life that you would like to practice this with. And number 1, give yourself that space to do it. You can use the questions that I showed you earlier, or you can just go online and Google reflective thinking questions. And there's tons of research on this. This is a positive psychology, tool as well. So you can definitely find a lot of work on reflective practice out there. You can find sample questions to help you if you didn't feel connected to the questions that I posed earlier that I use for myself. And then get over that hurdle of, am I doing this right? So I'm going to stop, or is it worth my time? You're never going to know until you try it, and you'll get better with your reflective thinking over time, because then you'll be thinking about your thinking, and then you'll understand that this is a larger issue that could be, and smaller things can start to matter a lot more, and you'll say, wow, this is a life-changing thing, this reflective practice stuff. And so I do want to encourage you to do it, even if you think it's hard right now, to go out and reflect. And you can journal it, you can, digital journal, you can put it right here in your journal, but take responsibility. And if something comes up when you're looking at your data charts, or if you're looking at whatever it is that you're reflecting on, and you say, wait, this isn't moving in the direction that I want it to go, then okay, that's fine. That's where you're learning. That's where you're starting to become aware. That's when you're starting to take notice, maybe on the business side of things, or whatever. I'm just throwing out another example out there. But take ownership and take responsibility, and then come up with action steps, attainable goals that you can try to do to move yourself forward in a positive direction. So I hope that you guys have a blessed day, and I will check you guys out later. I don't think I'm going to be back on tonight. I think I'm just doing the 1 hour stream today, and I'm definitely going to be on every day. So I'm looking forward to expanding this writing community, and just welcoming you here to spend this time with me. And maybe it can help you, grow as a writer, but then maybe it can just give you some protected time to write. And that's awesome too. So I hope that you have a great one. Bye, guys.